Alright, so I felt like making this video because I can see all around society they're attacking these just values that we have of they're just trying to destroy families, and they're trying to justify these actions, and it's sickening, really. um, I'm sure a lot of people have heard this whole narrative that's being pushed that humans are not meant to be not meant to practice monogamy, and you see that all around. And I mean, Hollywood pushes it huge, big time, and it's ridiculous. I looked up some things. I wanted to find out. Okay, what are these experts saying about it? What are their scientists? What is their basis on this to provide proof? And I was just curious. Okay, so I looked this up, and it's ridiculous. Okay, now first, keep this in mind. Okay, most relationships end. The majority of them end because of this. Okay, because as time goes on, they lose that happy feeling that they had in that honeymoon phase. Okay, and we can all relate to that. Everything's great. Everything is just connects. They're perfect for each other, and we think, oh, it's never going to change. It's just going to be perfect all the time. Then eventually, it kind of fades out because you get comfortable with each other. You stop doing things to try to impress each other. You stop making that effort that you did in the beginning, and that is why that fades out. If you both woke up every single morning thinking about, what can I do for the other person? What can I do for them to make them happy? Then both of you would be out of your selfish mindset of how can I be happy? And that is how you make a relationship last. Now it takes two. It takes two. Anyways, I'm going to continue. I digress. It does have to do with it, though. Keep that in mind. Okay. So this, I took some notes. So they push this narrative, society pushes this narrative that all these experts are saying, and they're doing all this research, and we believe that people should not be practicing monogamy because it just doesn't work. So they have this expert on here, okay? Christopher Ryan. Okay, he's got a PhD. Well, I'm going to call you out, Christopher Ryan, because you're full of crap. I'm going to call you out because you are full of crap. Okay, he's the author of Sex at Dawn, How We Mate, Why We Stray, and What It Means for Modern Relationships. Okay. Now he says, humans have not evolved to be a sexually monogamous species, which is evidenced by fact that we rarely only have one partner for our entire life. He says that having one partner at a time is not monogamy. It is actually serial polygyny, okay? He's saying it's polygamy. If you have one partner and things don't work out between the two of you, and you split, and you find another person, well, then now you're a polygamist. See how they spin that to fit their agenda, try to back their evidence of saying that if you don't make it with your first partner and you go to another one, well, then you're a polygamist. No, okay, the definition of polygamy is this. Not what he's saying. Polygamy, the practice or custom of having more than one wife or husband at the same time. You see that? You see the difference? The huge significant difference in that? No, but he wants to spin this to make it sound like, see, everyone is a polygamist, because if you didn't make a relationship last from the first time you got with someone and you got to another person, you're a polygamist. No, you're not a polygamist. You're a human being. We all find people that we're attracted to and find out we're not compatible, and that's okay. That is okay, okay? Moving on. Okay. The practice or custom of having more than one wife or husband at the same time. That is polygamy. Not what he said. So he's actually calling people serial polygamists. Isn't that just ridiculous and disturbing at the same time? It is to me. It really is. Okay, now, he has this other evidence to support his statement. All right? Just wait for this. Okay. Now he says that humans, well, it takes 100 times of having sex for one baby. That's the ratio. For animals, it's more like 12 to 1. Okay, I see where he's getting at this. Now he says that, well, humans, they don't have sex just because they're trying to have a baby. They even have it when a woman is not ovulating. Okay, obvious. Now they say, well, animals, well, they go when the other animal is in heat. So they go when they're in heat. Okay, yes. So now he backs this statement up by saying, humans' desire to experiment is far too great to limit ourselves to one sexual partner in our lives. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? This this guy, he says that human desire to experiment is far too great to limit ourselves to one sexual partner in our lives. Because someone has the desire, that means they should act on it? So, because it's hard to work out or exercise, we shouldn't do it, right? Because it's easier to just sit there and be lazy. So, now let's make this very clear. When you get into a relationship and you're happy with this person, now suddenly, obviously, what you were attracted to before that moment, it's not just going to change on a whim. It's not just going to be some magical moment where it's like, oh, I'm no longer attracted to everyone else. Okay. We all know this. We all know this. This is where loyalty and love comes into play. Okay? If you are loyal to someone, if you love someone, you are not going to cheat on them. You're just not going to do it. Okay? People are going to have thoughts that come through their mind. That is a natural thing, but it is also a natural thing when it comes to love and respect and loyalty to push those thoughts out of your mind. And he's trying to say, because we have this desire, because things come into our minds, we're supposed to just act on it. And that's the human nature. Okay, this is where a huge portion comes into play about God's teachings. He tells us not to just act on our nature of what we are as human beings, but to fight it, to become better than that. That is how a relationship lasts. Now, it is clear that many of us will be in a relationship and it's not going to last. And it's not just because, we didn't put forth effort. That's not what I was saying before. It definitely takes work, but it takes work on both sides. Now, we can easily realize that this will not always be the case. Someone is always going to fall into that selfish mindset. When things worked at the beginning, well, they could have continued working if you were both putting forth the effort. Now, I've been in relationships, and I put forth a great deal of effort. And it wasn't necessarily either person's fault that things didn't work out. Sometimes people do go in completely different directions, and they had that in their mind before they even got together. And we find that out as we go. There's nothing wrong with that. But does that make me a serial polygamist? It's a rhetorical question. It's definitely rhetorical. Obviously, I'm not a serial polygamist. And his statement was absurd. So, Christopher Ryan with your PhD, I'm calling you out because that was total crap. And you're trying to be this expert go-to guy for why human beings are not meant to be practicing monogamy. You're saying because we have a desire, because something comes up in our mind, because we're curious, that means we have to act on it. We have to just go for it. No. You need to have self-control, people. You need to have self-control. If you love the person you're with, then you practice that self-control. And eventually that self-control is not going to be something that you have to put a lot of effort into. It's going to be becoming natural. It's going to be this smooth sailing because you love that person, and that desire to do other things, it's no longer going to be taking the spotlight in your mind. So, this guy, he's full of crap. I don't know where you got your PhD from, but it really doesn't matter, because that doesn't make you an expert on this. Everything you said makes no sense. Okay. could rant on this for a while, but you can see why. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But they push this narrative, especially in Hollywood, especially the way that they make it seem like, oh, well, if you cheat on someone, well, if you just feel like this person would be better for you, then you just go for it. You leave the other person, and if the other person has harsh feelings, well, that's on them. Like, no, it's not. You need to practice self-control. We all need to practice self-control, and that is how a relationship works. That is how love becomes more of a strong bond. That is how you are unbreakable. You have to have that, otherwise it's not going to work. Now, it's just ridiculous. This serial polygamist. Are you kidding me?